Witcher 4 just got a ton of news. We have new details from the game director, Sebastian Kalimba, and the executive producer. They recently went on a press tour. They spoke with SkillUp, Easy Allies, and Games.ch. And in those interviews, we got details regarding Ciri's powers, the world size for The Witcher 4. Gwent has been confirmed. Geralt of Rivia will be in Toussaint. And Sebastian Kalimba also confirmed that he will be showing us the other side of the coin later this week. We have a lot to cover, guys, so check the video chapters for easy viewing, and let's get into it. So starting off with the first interview with SkillUp, the question was asked, was the trailer made in engine? To which they answered, yes, the trailer was in engine. It's a cinematic pre-rendered trailer, which they said helped us a lot in development, but it was also a very challenging choice because first time always costs a lot, but this way we were able to really establish the look we want to aspire for. That's the look that we want to achieve generally in the game. The next question was, is the trailer content part of the main quest or side content? Which they confirmed it was side content. It kind of represents, you know, what the epic monster hunt can possibly look like. In this way, we're able to even evolve the way we want to represent hunting for big monsters like this one. The next question was asked what inspired the monster in the trailer, and they replied that's the monster from Serbian Folk, which is a super dangerous, you know, kind of place with your fears, which is a really good segue for us to show the different perspective of what potentially the monster is. In this case, you know, she had to defeat her inner monster, right? Her fear to be able to, you know, defeat him. The next question was asked, what can we expect from The Witcher 4 compared to the previous games? And they said the way we make RPGs, there's always this core DNA that comes from Red itself. So in this case, there's a huge advantage for us to tell a super immersive story because again, we had this choice to go with the predefined character. What's great with Ciri is that first of all, the player's sentiment know her, but also for new players, this is a great starting point. She's choosing to become a Witcher, so that's the turning point in her life to form her own codex to really understand what the Witcher path means for her. They were then asked the question, why was Ciri chosen as the main character? And the answer was, you know, we talk about it back even still working on The Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt. She's already a playable character, right? So she's kind of always in. We were saying that she was always meant to be. She's a very complex character, right? And definitely predefined at one point, but on the other, a blank space we can, and the players afterwards can also play with. The next question was, will The Witcher 4 refer to the endings of The Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt? And they said for sure, but definitely we're starting with The Witcher 4 a few years after The Wild Hunt. We'll refer to the Wild Hunt ending, and so definitely players with the sentiment will spot details here and there, even nuance, like really nuanced dialogue pieces, sometimes here and there referring to the past nuance. It was then asked, how will Ciri's gameplay differ from Geralt's? And the answer was, she's using magic on top, right? She's using the potions. So I guess this is an important part for that. She's more agile, right? She's younger. She's also lighter. So that's for sure. I think that her energy is different here as she's like a mutated source. And Ciri doesn't use signs exactly. Signs are a weaker form of magic. And she's catalyzing it and creating a powerful spell to be able to build this opportunity window for her. So you can already tell based on that concept you see in the trailer, that's what we're going to do in the gameplay, which sounds really interesting. So unlike Geralt, who only has access to like the basic signs, but you know, Ciri is a full-blown sorceress, so she has access to that magic as well. I'm curious about the full extent of her powers in The Witcher 4. My theory is that when she does the Trial of the Grasses, it actually removes some of her powers or like suppresses some of her powers, and she has to like slowly build that up as the game goes. The next question was asked, what can players expect in terms of the game world scale? To which Sebastian Kalimba said the map is definitely more or less the same when it comes to the size. The amount of quests more or less the same, right? But again, the game is going to be big, but also the ambition of the entire team is huge. So first and foremost, we want to deliver a super compelling experience. So again, quality over quantity, but definitely what we can promise is yes, the game is going to be pretty big. Another question was, will any elements from Cyberpunk 2077 make their way into The Witcher 4? To which they said yes, particularly when it comes to gameplay design in general, especially encounters. The way we approach level design, generally giving you more choices to roleplay your character around combat. This was a great lesson from Cyberpunk, and we definitely want to keep that because we believe it worked out very well. And finally, the last question was asked, when will we learn more about The Witcher 4? To which they answered, it's hard actually because we are so excited about everything and there's so much more already that we can't talk about yet. So this teasing and for us seeing people talk about it, it's great because, you know, it's a space for the creativity of the people, imagination to push forward, and we can promise that this is already cooking. This brings us to the Easy Ally interview where they had both Sebastian and the executive producer on as well. We're going to filter out some of the questions that were already asked in the skill up interview, but the first question was asked, Ciri is clearly older. Are you talking about how much older? They said it's a few years later after the Wild Hunt, and mutants don't age that much. Please keep in mind that we showcased her eyes as mutated, but the way you left her in the Wild Hunt, she wasn't. That means something, right? Something happened, which obviously that means the Trial of the Grasses happened, and she became a full-on Witcher. The next question was asked, that is a different medallion for sure. Can you tell us about the school there? To which they responded, it's a Lynx medallion, but we cannot tell you more details about it right now because it's a pretty important part of the game. It's part of the experience, so you'll get to know it at some point. It was then asked, can you tell us or tease us anything about Gwent? And they responded, we love it, right? So I guess this is our question. We really love the game Gwent, and we also really carefully always listen to the community, but I don't think anyone will be disappointed. Geralt better be the final boss. That's all I'm saying straight up. Continuing on, they asked, the trailer alludes to some combat things other than just the swords. We see her do some magic that seems a bit different, as well as the chains. Anything you want to talk about there? And they answered, yeah, for sure. The chain is not only a utility tool that comes from the school, but it's also pretty cool. We refer to the very first initial trailer we released 20 years ago, inspired heavily by Androv Sepkovsky. Ciri is also a source, so she has elder blood, and she can use that magic in ways that Geralt's simplified signs couldn't. It was then asked, shouldn't Ciri be an empress or something like that? Did you choose a canon ending, or do the paths merge? To which they responded, we cannot tell you more about that right now, but definitely we will refer to the Wild Hunt ending somehow. We pay a lot of respect to the canon, and for us, canon is Androv Sepkovsky's literature and our games. So to me, that kind of tells us that maybe Ciri becomes the empress for a short time, maybe another conjunction happens, and then she leaves that life to take on all of the new monsters that have spawned from it. It was then asked, what is the pressure like to live up to the side quests from The Witcher 3, and how are you going to outdo yourselves in The Witcher 4? And they answered, we are going to outdo ourselves with each installment. It doesn't matter which IP, we always try to push the boundaries, find new ways to make more of it, not necessarily in the quantity, but in the quality and complexity of how you feel the impact and consequences. What are your goals with the combat this time around, and are you looking for a refinement or reinventing? To which they answered, for sure, what we got from The Witcher 3 was that there were moments when the gameplay was a bit clunky here and there, and we took that lesson and invested a lot of time in improving the gameplay. With Ciri, it gives us more opportunities as she's a predefined character, but also one on her own journey to becoming a Witcher. They then asked, can you tease us any of the regions at all? To which they responded, we can tell you that Stormford, the village we presented in the trailer, is far north. It's isolated, a small village with up to 35 people, and it will be in the game. And they also confirmed that we can actually save the girl, which sounds pretty awesome. Now, next up, they asked the question, will dialogue systems be similar to The Witcher 3 or refined? And they said there are some similarities, but the way Ciri is written will be different. Her choices and consequences will come from the bottom of her heart. There are ideas for nuance and choices, but more will be revealed later. And then finally, they asked the question, can you talk about skill points, mutagens, or crafting? To which they answered, one day, my friend, one day we're going to meet again. Now, the third and final interview, it was from the Game CH YouTube channel, and they had a lot of the same questions, but we'll just go over some of the details. So for starters, she went through the trial to become a Witcher, and is not only she's a mutant, but she's a mutated source, like we've mentioned before in the other interviews. But she's a mutated source because of the elder blood in her veins, which will surely have some interesting gameplay implications, and I can't wait to learn more. Next up, they said Geralt will be in the game, but they can't tell us how he will look like, which that right there is going to be pretty curious. Geralt was confirmed to be in Toussaint, and he will be a part of the new game, as they mentioned. Some of the other details from the interview is there's going to be new regions to explore, and it will be new to seasoned players. And the game is built to be friendly to new players, but also respecting the veterans of the first trilogy, which sounds great. I can't wait to learn more about the locations that we'll see in The Witcher 4. Will it be one cohesive map? Will it be multiple different regions like we got with The Witcher 3? Which that right there is the part that I'm most curious about. So the last thing that I want to talk about is we got confirmation from Sebastian Kalimba that he will be revealing us the other side of the coin later this week, which sounds really exciting. I can't wait to see the significance of the other side of the coin. I've got my theories, but I'll just hold them off until we get the actual reveal. And I'm wondering how much they're going to keep on teasing us and leaving breadcrumbs for The Witcher 4. Like, as the months and years go by, are they going to just keep on teasing us with different aspects of the game? Or is there going to be like a dark period where they just go silent on social media until we get the next big reveal? I guess only time will tell, and we're just going to have to wait and see. But that's going to wrap it up with this video, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel with your notifications turned on. And until next time, this has been Wes, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.